In this video, we are going to take a few minutes to talk about fabric grain and why that matters for your sewing project. If you take a scrap of fabric, you'll notice that widthwise, there's a bit of stretch there. You'll notice lengthwise, the fabric has little to no stretch. And if you take that fabric on a diagonal, you're going to have quite a bit of stretch. The grains along the selvage edge of the fabric are called a warp, and that is where you're not going to have much stretch at all. Perpendicular to the selvage edge is called the weft, and there's a little bit of stretch there. The diagonal is also called a bias, and the bias has the most stretch. So with some projects, for instance, bias tape, where you want to go around curves, you'll want stretch in there. For projects like a dog bandana, where you want it to drape nicely, or certain window treatments where you want them to drape really well, you'll want to cut those and sew those on the bias so that you can have that shape in the end. It really all depends on the result that you want at the end of your project and where you want the stretch to be. Another advantage to understanding fabric grain is that it can help us determine the proper orientation of a pattern, because that warp, which has very little stretch, will always be lengthwise or vertical. A topic relevant to fabric grain is bias tape. Bias tape is used in a lot of sewing and craft projects. It's fairly universal. And if you are interested in learning more about bias tape, how to make your own bias tape, how to install the bias tape, check out the video linked in the description below. And until next time, happy sewing.